going on, guys? Welcome to Trenches Trading. These are your top picks for this week. All right, let us jump right in. So we got ANET, we got Hood, Microsoft, Micron MU, Palantir PLTR, VRT Vertiv Holdings, and Eli Lilly LLY. All right. Before we jump into those, let's look at the news coming out for the week. So, in case you forgot, the government is shut down technically, which means that anything can happen at any moment. As for news, there's no red folders here for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a holiday, so who knows what that means. It means something though. All right, Tuesday, 12:20. Powell speaks. All right, so I would expect some volatility on Tuesday around this time. If Powell decides to cut rates, then I would assume that the market's going to pump higher. If he doesn't cut the rates, then maybe we move sideways or we pull back a little bit. Wednesday, no heavy news. Thursday, we got a few things. So we got PPI, retail, and unemployment. All right. So, and these are tentative, again, because the government shut down. They're on the schedule, but we don't actually know if these numbers are going to be released. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's on there. All right. So expect some news Tuesday, Thursday, and that should be it for the week. Okay. Let's get to the charts. So ANET, they have earnings coming up November 4th. All right. This is a high implied volatility event. So I would imagine these contracts are going to keep the premium that's built into them, which is good. All right, let's check out the monthly. So the monthly chart is fully extended here. 3 ATR, right? That's my resistance level. That's why I like to say, stay clear of this chart because it's pretty extended on the weekly. It's got about $10 between where price is and the 3 ATR. And on the daily, there's quite a bit of space. It's about $13 here. So that's interesting. It's interesting. Let's check out the lower time frames here. Might find a setup. Maybe not. It seems like we're not gonna. Yeah. Okay. So nothing's formed yet. This daily is nice. If price were to fall down into this range, like that, I'd be happy to buy. So we're talking about 141 to 149. So I would call that a buy zone. You can put an alert here at 149.63 as price drops between the 8 and 21 EMA. Ideally, I want to pick it up down here, between 141 and maybe like 144. That'd be ideal. All right. ANET. Let's see the contracts. We want to look at this November 7 series since they have earnings coming up. Just close these up so that you're not confused. Again, they have earnings Tuesday the 4th, so the November series is going to have a higher implied volatility. You see on the right here has a 76% implied volatility, right? So it's going to be, on average, higher than the other weeks. Yeah, I'd probably just go with these 160s right here, right at the money, or not at the money because price is at 154, but slightly out of the money. So we'll just call it the 11 7 160 calls when price is under 144. That's what I would do for ANET. Let's look at hood. This thing has been truly amazing. I'm curious at the targets that it's hit. So TP1, 2, and TP3 is left on the monthly chart. All right, let's see what this looks like on a weekly. We got some pullback last week, which is good. And on the daily, we got some pullback right down to this area. So that's awesome. So let me see. I want to put a line up here. And then I want to delete this. And I'm just going to call this TP3. And I'm going to put an M for the monthly chart. Okay. So there's nothing going on here. All right, we got the start of a squeeze, of a setup on the 195 and the 130s. Got it going on right here. So price is down here in the buy zone. We got our squeezes. What's this? They got some news. Younger Americans are opting to rent and invest rather than buy homes, driven by zero commission trading apps like Robinhood. So that's good. Good news. Right? Young Americans rather rent than buy a home so that they can invest and become wealthy. Yeah, that's great news for Robinhood. It looks like perhaps there's a two-step pattern here forming. No. It violated the level. Okay. Well, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. There was some support around there, and price is just above it. I got a support template. Here we go. So we got support at this level, right? Supported here twice, 3 times. And now prices come right back down to this area. So if price opens up here, anywhere under 144 and 138, this would be a great place to buy Robinhood. Do they have earnings? Yes. November 5th as well. Okay. So let's check out Hood. So currently price is at 144. All right. Let me see what ANET was at. ANET at 157, 158. So a lot of the market is bounced. You can see over here on the left, these are the numbers where the futures are currently. So the Dow is up almost 400 points. NASDAQ is up 420 points. The S&P 500 is up, or the 83 points, and the Russell 2000 is up 40 points. So after the big dip on Friday, due to Trump's tweet about tariffs, we got a big bounce. So this is going to be a big green day here in a couple hours. So Hood is already at 144. That is essentially, that was my buy zone, I believe. Let me see. The top of my buy zone, yeah. So Hood is still a buy. Okay. I would essentially get in. It would look something like this. All right. This being 137 to 144.50. Okay. As for contracts, I didn't mention this in the last setup we were looking at, but because this is a high volatility event, you can go a little bit out of the money because the premium is kept in the contracts. Okay, so You know, you could get these 145s. Again, price is going to be at 144 in the morning if this stays like this. But you could also go out and get these 150s. And for ANET, let me just go back and look. The 160s were fine. I would even go out to the 165s. 165s aren't bad. For hood, because it's going to be at 145, I like these 150s. I think that's a nice solid contract. So I'm going to say 11, 7, 150 calls under 144.50. All right. I like the hood idea a lot, just because what they've been doing all year. So I'm just gonna put the contract here on my watch list. Okay, Microsoft. Let's look at the monthly. So, had this nice move higher since April, like most of the stock market has. Now on the weekly, it's forming a nice little pattern here, consolidation. And then on the daily, price is right. I'm wondering if it has bounced. Yeah, so $6 bounce in Microsoft. Okay, that's a huge bounce right off this point of control here. So essentially, the perfect day to buy in would have been Friday at the close. Let's see. So last time price got rejected was at about 531. Okay. I like that as an area to target. That's our resistance. And down here is essentially where the price closed at would be like your stop loss. If you look left, you see this was resistance here, then it became support. Support, resistance, 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 support, resistance, support, resistance, support, support, support. So this is a key level here at 510. And, you can define your risk there. Unfortunately, this thing is already at 516. So it's a little bit out of the buy zone. Oh, that's the wrong tool. I meant this one. But you could probably get about a 1-to-1 here. Oh, 1-to-2. Look at that. So not horrible. If you can catch Microsoft at 516, you can still get a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. They also have earnings. They have it at the end of this month, so October 29th. So we'd get this October 31st series. And, you definitely want to go out of the money with Microsoft. They got some expensive contracts. Being that they're targeting 530, I'm happy to go with those 530 calls. So we're going to call this, what's that, 516 to 510. So buy zone 510 to 516. I like the 1031, 530 calls. So it's earnings season, clearly, right? The first three on the list have all had earnings coming up within a few weeks. The way I would play these, again, I don't mind going out of the money to buy these contracts because it is during the week that they report earnings. So the premium will keep in the contract even during dips. I would hold up to the event and take profits before the event, but not through the event. So what that means is, you see here, they report earnings Wednesday, October 29th in the evening. That's what this sun is. So that means after 4 p.m. that Wednesday, they're going to report earnings. Depending on what Microsoft is doing, if on that day happens to be a nice big green day like this, then I would sell this contract at 3:59 p.m. on Wednesday the 29th, or any point before then, if we get a big gap up like this, right? If Microsoft happens to turn around and start coming up, and blast off, and it's any time or day before Wednesday the 29th at 3:59 p.m., then I'll happily take profits. But I will not hold through the event, because you never know what's going to happen in an earnings event. Price could shoot up and you can make money. Price could also gap down and you could lose money. Really quickly, I can show two examples of that. Here we go. So this was earnings. They beat earnings and the stock shot up 22% overnight. So when that happens, you make a killing, right? Yay! However, the opposite could happen too. They also beat earnings, but instead, the stock gapped down 6%. So your option essentially will be worthless. Okay? So you never know what's going to happen. For that reason, I just don't hold through earnings, right? I'll hop in like now, right? Before the event, a few weeks early on my squeezes when price is in my buy zone, and then I'll ride the price higher into the event, take my profits, let this play out, and then if I want to get back in on Thursday or Friday that week, then I'll do that, but not through the event. Okay, I'm sure that makes sense. Alrighty, MU. So MU has been killing it. They're up here, about $10 away from their monthly 3 ATR. On the weekly chart, they started pushing towards their 5 ATR, and they're resting on their 3 ATR, which is incredible. And on the daily, they're just beneath the 8 EMA. So let's see if there's anything on these lower time frames. Look at this. A perfect place to go long. Excuse me. Again, they probably bounced. Yeah, up $5. So missed that buying opportunity at 180. Price is currently up here at 185. Still a good buy. Still in the buy zone. All right, still in the buy zone. At the top of the buy zone, but still in it. So 180 to 185 buy zone. So if you can catch this early enough tomorrow, if the markets open up and price shoots up and just goes green from the beginning, chances are you'll miss it. But if you can catch it at the open, either on a dip, a pullback back to this 180 area or 183 or something like that, then that'll be a great entry. And earnings is behind MU. Okay, so they reported earnings a few weeks back, about 2 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So they don't report earnings again until December. And they beat earnings. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that you can trade this company freely without any worries until basically Christmas. All right, so I like that. So MU is going to be a great buy here in the buy zone. Let's look at some of these contracts. That's the 130 minute. And we can get some time on this because we don't have to worry about earnings. I like these November 21st series. It gives you about 40 days right here at the money, these 190 or 185s. These are great. I like the 190s, November 2021, 190 calls. All right. This was 180 to 185. Okay, so I love that. This gives you plenty of time for this pattern to play out and for you to see new all-time highs, essentially. Yeah, this is it. This is new all-time highs right here. Let's see what the next target would be. based off this monthly pattern, 216. So that's awesome. MU can definitely do that. I mean, this month it moved $48 in September. So far in October, it's moved about $14. At the height, $35. So 216 is absolutely possible. You give yourself 40 days and you might catch a really great move here in MU based off this 130-minute squeeze. I love it. Love the idea. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, PLTR. The monthly is all the way up here at 3 ATR already. The weekly has pulled back some, which is great. And the daily has this beautiful setup, okay? They have earnings November 10th. Like, price came down here twice, gave 2 buying opportunities so far in October, okay? Let's see what this looks like off this pattern. It's given a $200 price, which coincides with the 3 ATR. So we got some confluence up here around 200. Plus 200 is also a psychological number. PLTR is up only $3, okay? So that's the good news. It's only up $3. The bad news is that $3 basically takes it out of the buy zone. Okay, so 170 basically to 177, I would call it. So the buy zone is going to be 170 to 177. They have earnings November 10. Oh, spoiler alert. I have a position here. Ding, ding, ding. PLTR. What was that? November 10, 170, 90, 190. Top of this range is about 188. Yeah, these 190s are fine. If you want to go a little bit more with the money, you could do the 195s or the 200s. 200's a nice round number. You see the 200's also got some volume, so some people are already getting involved. Yeah, why not? Let's write these 200s. November 14th, 200s. I like it. 11/14, 200 calls. All right, they got earnings Monday, November 10th. And again, I said I have a spread here, so I bought the 195s, sold the 200s against it. And essentially the way that works is that it's a 5 wide. Okay, so let's do some math. Let me check that off here. Okay, so I bought the 195s and I sold the 200s. Okay, so the difference between 195 and 200 is 5. So it's called the 5 wide vertical spread. Okay, and what that means is whatever I pay for it, let's just say I paid $2. That means the most that I can earn on it is the difference between 5 and 2, which equals, that's right, 3. So essentially I'm risking $2 to make $3. Okay, that's how vertical spreads work. Okay, next, VRT. So VRT, about $30, $25 from the monthly 3 ATR. The weekly is about $14 away. And the daily just tapped it on Friday. All right, so this thing was getting ready to rip off, and then Trump's tweet brought it right back down. And if you look, it came right down to previous support. Right? Look, resistance, resistance. That's what I meant, resistance. Resistance. And then, boom, support for the first time in forever. It's never been support. Okay, so new support just created on Friday for VRT. They have earnings October 22nd. So let's check out October 22nd. We're going to look at these October 24th series. All right, and we see here, well, first off, VRT has bounced a little. So it's at 172, 173 right now. Again, since this is the earnings series, we can go a little out the money. We can get these 185 calls or 180 calls. I'm cool with the 185s. I'm cool with those. So we're going to say 10, 24, 185 calls. So this is not near the buy zone. However, it is on a new support zone, right? Resistance, 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 support. So how I would play this now is using this 170 level as the new resistance. This thing closed at 169.13. It's already above it, right? Pre-market, it's up at 173-ish. So I would use 170 as my exit. If this thing closes under 170, I would get out. Look at that. We got a squeeze forming here on the 130. Squeezes, price at the 8. Or bounced off the 8. Let's see if we can't find a smaller time frame setup. That's ugly. Alrighty, so there's nothing per se on the smaller time frame, but again, there's something here on the 130. So playing the 1024 series, same thing with the earnings. So this one has earnings in the morning, right? Before the market opens. So how I would play this is I would take profits Tuesday, October 21st, before the market closes. Because I don't want to hold the contract into Wednesday because they report Wednesday morning, okay? So, targets. Let's see, possible target. So this thing went all the way up and basically tapped TP3. So I need to get some extra targets. So here we go. 194, 206. Obviously 200 is also a psychological level. So 200 is always going to be a target for something that has never crossed there before into that level. So we got 200 up here. All right, we'll use 170 as a stop loss, and essentially you want to target, what were those numbers again? 194, 190, 200. So we got 190, 5 ATR, 194 is the fib level, 200 is the psychological level. All right, last but not least, Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly has been in this pattern here, right? You can see it, I'm sure. It's been doing something like that. Something like that. Okay. We would like to see this breakout eventually. This is the monthly chart, so this breakout will be huge. 3 ATRs up here over 1,000. I thought I saw this thing over 1,000 before, but I guess not. It was at 972 back in August last year. 3 ATR and the take profit levels are both over 1,000. We got this thing squeezing. So something's brewing. They have earnings October 30th. Here's the weekly. So we got these moving averages crossing down here, right? 8's going through the 21, which looks like it wants to get through the 34. Price is up here at the trend line. The trend line has confluence with the 702. It's a lot of resistance in this general area. However, if price can get through this 868, 870 level, it's gonna be a big party. It's gonna be a big party. LOY is gonna go insane. All right. So again, they have earnings on the 30th. Let's see if there's a setup here. Yep. So the 130 has a setup. All right. Prices here consolidating. Had a nice little expansion pattern. I think the next move is going to be to attack this zone again. So LOY has some expensive contracts, generally speaking. What was their earnings dates? The 30th. Okay. So we have to go to that 1031 series. These guys have some pricey options. The best way to play them, if you don't have the premium, is going to be with spreads. So the target up here is going to be that 870 area. And then they have the 890 5ATR. So let's see what a vertical would look like here. 870 to 890. So that's not bad at all, right? $6.50. Again, let's do the math. So we've got 890 minus 870. That equals 20 wide, okay? Now we got the 20 minus 650. 1350. So that means you're risking 650 to make 1350. Essentially risking 1 to make 2. Okay, so I like that. If that's too expensive, you can drop it down to a 10 wide. That's still, really good risk reward, in my opinion. And if you feel that's too expensive, then you can move it out. You can buy the 80s and maybe sell the 90s, right? Or sell the 885. So for $1.53, you can get involved and, risk $1.53 to make, what is that, 347. All right. Again, you want to get the 1031 series. Let's call it a vertical spread. I like the 870 by 890 at 650 or less. And right here as prices between the 33 and the 17. So we're going to call that 817 to 833. Bam. All right, guys. I hope this helps. I hope you all make money next week or tomorrow in about 8 hours. Happy trading.